going on, guys? Welcome back for another episode of Leading Leaders. Here with me, I got Blake Glenn. Blake, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name's Blake. I'm married with my wife, Sabrina. Got a little girl. We attend church with Israel at Starting Point PCG here in Seminole. Me and my wife, Sabrina, are leaders of the host team group, which is door greeters and ushers. We've been doing that for about 1.5 years now. Been going to church there for about 4-5 years now. Really had a good time. That's where we meet Israel, and work here in town, lived here in town my whole life, and I don't know, that's about it.
Well, dude, I'll just hit you out with it right out of the gate. So you mentioned that you and your wife were the host team leaders, team leadership.
Yes.
And what do you think is the most important thing about ushers and door greeters in your ministry?
Oh, just mostly so people can feel welcome when they come into church, when they come to God's house. New people that's been here. Someone may have been in a bad mood. They show up, see happy greeters. It puts them in a better mood to be at church, makes them glad they came.
Yeah.
New people, they feel welcomed when they come in. If they're lost, the ushers are there to help them find their way, help them find a seat, find someone that they're looking for. So they feel welcome and they want to come back. They want to be there. I've been to places before, churches before, where there's not that. You just kind of wandered around feeling lost sometimes. But the greeters and stuff, they really make you feel welcome.
Yeah, man, I've been to, like I've told you and Sabrina before, me and Michaela church hop before we came to Starting Point, and dude, that's how it was. You know, when you walk into a place, you can tell where you feel at home, where you feel welcomed, and I 100% agree. You know, greeters and ushers, you know, I think are very pivotal point of the church, because you know that's the first person you see as soon as you walk in the door. You know, I don't really. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say it sets the tone, but in a way it does set the tone for that person's service. You know, it sets the tone as soon as they walk in the door. And, you know, I'll be straight up, when we first started sitting ushers in the back, I was like, man, this is dumb. I don't understand that at all. But it's funny, now that we've sat back, you know, we've had people come in and literally we had that one guy walk in and say, dude, I need an altar. Yeah. You know, and that's what ushers are for, right?
And we was there to usher him there. Otherwise, he could have sat there and left and never got what he came for. And yeah, it's a really good thing. And the new people, their first 5 minutes, they know if they're coming back or not. Oh, yeah. They guarantee it, Yeah,
and I think it's amazing. And you and Sabrina do an amazing job at it.
Yeah, thank you.
I think y'all guys are phenomenal, and especially with y'all are very good with the pairing that y'all guys do too, you know, and I think that's a very big, you know, part of y'all's job is to be able to pair people together, you know, because you don't want, you know, over ecstatic, because then somebody's going to be bombarded as soon as they walk in the door. Yeah. But y'all guys do an amazing job. So that actually rolls into my next question. How did you learn to deal with, you know, the different personalities of people coming into the door?
So that was something I had to kind of learn, because even when I still started this, I didn't really like to talk to people and stuff. So it took a lot of just kind of learning how to read people, read their faces, read their attitudes, and to, even always be pushing forward to reach someone and to talk to someone and like that.
Yeah. And you know, like you said, you know, it's sometimes we put up our own walls, and I'm the world's worst. My face puts up a wall for me sometimes. Yeah. But and you know, I could be in a great mood, but I'll be like, yeah. But that's the greatest thing about, like, you know, coming in and, you know, walking in and somebody's already like, hey man, what's up? How are you? Yeah. And I think y'all guys have done very good at implementing that. And, you know, that's honestly for me, and I told you this before, for me, one of my biggest I guess, faults, I guess, in myself that I'm working on right now actually is, finding fellowship inside the church, right? And it's sad that it's that way, but at the same time, I guess everybody gets in that mindset of, do I want you to get close to me? Because then you're going to know what I used to do and where God brought me from. But like I told Michaela, dude, to me, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
Especially somebody that knew me in the past, like, oh, well, you didn't do that before. Well, good. I'm glad, man. Like, well, you're talking my language now.
That makes my day whenever someone that I've known for several years before I got saved and they say something like that. Well, you used to not do this, or I've noticed you don't do that anymore. That's different, and it just makes my day when people say that. And sometimes you get down a little bit, like, man, I just feel like I'm doing horrible right now. I'm just slacking off in this, and someone says that, like, well, I guess I've made it somewhere.
Yeah, I'm not where I used to be.
Yeah, not where I used to be.
So, have you always had that servant mindset or servant's heart?
Not really until I got saved. I mean, as close to that as I've had, as I've always been a worker. I enjoy to work, but as far as being a servant and wanting to help people, I didn't really get that until I got saved. That was something that God put in me whenever He saved me and I changed. And that's something, and it's grown the longer that I've been saved and living for God and stuff. But yeah, I just wanted to work. I didn't care what it was for, who it was for. I mean, if it helped someone, okay. If not, oh well. But now I want to help people. I seek ways to help people.
That's awesome, dude. And, I'll tell you straight up, dude, even in some of the upcoming ministries that we have, you're doing a phenomenal job stepping up when you're asked, And that's what I think is awesome is even in leadership, you can still be asked, hey, do you want to help out with this? Do you want to help step up and do this too?
Yeah.
And, a lot of people, I've addressed this a couple times in my podcast. A lot of people are very hesitant to say yes because they're scared.
Yeah.
And, I guess scared is not the right word. They're hesitant because they are nervous on what it entails.
Yeah.
But half of the time, bro, you don't even know what it entails.
Yeah.
You're just like, okay.
And I think it helps too it's not the only reason I do extra stuff, but it does help for people to see leaders helping in different places than what they're leading, and to see them step out into different roles. It helps other people. I think it's good for Christians to help and serve in places. I think a lot of times why people don't stick around maybe is because they just want to come to church, go home.
Yeah.
They don't serve while they're there. And as a Christian, that's where we thrive, is serving. That's our entire goal in ministry in the end, is to serve and love other people.
Right, and that's what God's called us to do, right?
Yeah.
He's called us to be servants.
Yeah.
He called us to love each other like we love ourselves. Like, love our wives like God loved the church, stuff like that. And, I think I 100% agree with you, that's what I think it's people missing a place and they want to do it, but they're like, well, I just don't know where I fit in. I literally just talked to a dude not too long ago about him. He's like, man, I want to step out. I want to do all these things. And he's like, I just don't want to be in the way. I was like, well, sometimes, dude, that's the best place to be.
Yeah.
That's where God told you to be, was in the way, because now that might have been a void that they didn't see.
Yeah.
That your leadership didn't see that was there. And you're like, hey, this is an empty gap.
Yeah.
Can I take charge of this and start filling it up? Or do you want to put somebody in charge and let me help them or whatever, Yeah. And I think people are so scared of stepping on each other's toes.
Yeah.
And in all actuality, if you're scared of stepping on somebody's toes, you shouldn't be listening to what God's telling you to do, right?
Yeah.
So if God's telling you to do it, it's not going to be stepping on somebody's toes.
Yeah.
So let me rephrase that. If God's telling you to do it, it's not going to be stepping on somebody's toes.
Yeah, you're going to fit in.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And it might sound like it. You're like, man, I don't know. That's their forte. But if God's like, hey, you need to bring this up because this might be good. And, you know, I was terrified to bring up the man up thing, you know, because I didn't want to step on anybody's toes. I didn't want to seem like I was trying to take over anything, you know, anything like that. And I brought it up to Pastor and Billy, and I was like, hey, I'm not trying to change what y'all's men's ministry is doing, anything like that. I said, I just really feel like God is telling me that me and Logan need to do this. And all right, run with it. So we ran with it, and so far every year it's just gotten bigger and bigger.
It has, and it's been great.
Dude, and I'm excited to see where it's at this year.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm so happy that you actually get to be on the board and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's fun to see it all come together and everything.
So what difficulties have you ran into as being a leader in that position?
Oh, not a whole lot of difficulties in that one. It's just working with people, kind of like herding cats, working around everybody's schedule, working around this, working around that. Scheduling type stuff is the biggest things. There hasn't been a whole lot in ours. We've been really blessed. We have a lot of people that really want to help, and they really do make it a lot easier than it could be. There's not been just a whole lot that I can think of right off the top of my head.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was going to be like one of y'all's hardest things, is because, you know, people have life. It's life.
Oh, yeah.
Life comes up.
Yeah.
If scheduling was going to be one of y'all guys' hardest.
That's probably our biggest hurdle that we have is scheduling.
How do y'all guys maintain a schedule that y'all guys can change frequently? Do y'all have like that, like a board set up at home? Or
we have, it's all on Notepad, but we have, Sabrina's good on computers, so she has an Excel sheet so we can pick this and that. But we just keep track of certain people can't do it on the first of the month. We have a note. We have a list of Sunday greeters, Sunday ushers, Wednesday greeters, Wednesday ushers, and then we just sit down and look at the last one and look at this, and we just kind of wing it every month.
Hey,
yeah,
you know, it's I think it's important, you know, to sometimes not just go off of well, you're doing it this day, you're doing it this day every week. Sometimes that's good to have, but at the same time, I really think it's very important to be like, man, okay, God, who do you want here?
Yeah.
Like, who do you want here this day? Because, you know, you never know who God's sending in that church, into the church that day, and who they need to have there. And, you know, I'm not saying that they couldn't get something from somebody else, but, you know, like I've always says, you know, it's easier to talk you through something if I've gone through it, right?
Yeah,
and if you're coming in struggling with something and I've gone through that, but hey, man, let me tell you about what God done for me. So
and there may be a day that you're working that someone comes in that you're just able to click with. You say the right thing when they come in that I wouldn't have said right off, or vice versa. Either way, it just works out. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Some of the times that I've seen that stuff just works out like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
That's awesome. I mean, I think it's awesome what y'all guys are doing. So I got a big question for you. So how has your relationship with God grown deeper since you have started stepping up in a leadership role?
Oh, it's gotten me to rely on Him more instead of trying to figure it out myself, because the few times that I do try to figure it out myself, it doesn't work. Ends with an argument with me and Sabrina or something. We can tell when we start trying to do it ourselves rather than rely on God for what we're doing and how to organize this stuff and all of that. So it's really made us depend on God more, just lean on Him more and have faith in what He's doing in our lives.
That's awesome, dude. Because, you know, I'll tell you straight up, dude, from heck, me and you have been going to church at Starting Point for probably almost the exact same amount of time.
Yeah.
And from the beginning, I think in both of us, you know, we've grown substantially.
Oh, yeah.
From where we were at when we first started going to the Starting Point. And you and Sabrina, man, I want to give y'all guys props. I say y'all guys like soared from where y'all guys were started out to now, you know. I think God's doing some amazing things in y'all guys' life. And I just want to be a word of encouragement and keep y'all doing what y'all guys are doing. You know?
Yeah. It feels like it some days. Some days it doesn't, but
Hey,
there's some days I see it. Like when we first showed up, I had social anxiety, horrible. I'd have never stood at the usher spot and said hi to every single person that walks in and helped people and all of that when I first showed up. It's just unreal the change that God's made in our lives like that.
it's good though.
Yeah, it is. It's really good.
And that's what I always tell everybody is like, man, just get ready because, you know,
Mhm.
he's just setting you up for the next thing that he has planned for you.
Yeah.
Get ready. Get ready.
And it's scary. And then when that thing happens, that next step happens, you're like, oh, that
This
wasn't
is
so
what
bad.
I was scared of.
That's what it was
You know?
for. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
dude, it's just awesome to see how much y'all guys have just boom, 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 and continue.
Yeah.
And, you know, even with y'all guys going down and just worshiping at the altars and stuff like that, you know, it's just seeing that from before to now.
Yeah.
It's completely different. And even, dude, that was one of my biggest things I thought was one of my downfalls, or one of the things that I was scared of, stepping out and praying for somebody, even if I heard something to tell somebody. I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
And it's funny because, you know, the more that you step out in faith and do what he's asking you to do, the way easier it gets.
Yeah.
Right? You know, so it's not as scary. It's not as pressured. You're not like, oh gosh, what am I doing? You know? But I think y'all guys are doing amazing, man. So we'll wrap it up with one last question.
All right.
So what would be your words of wisdom or words of advice for somebody who is starting out in usher and door greeter and host committee leadership?
I don't. Let me think about that one. Good thing for that. I'd say just talk to your people. It's really helped this year since we've started having some meetings. For the first year and a half, we was just kind of winging it. Kind of people was doing what they wanted and stuff, but we had that meeting, and it's laid a little bit of structure, and having structure has really helped with all of it. And then just kind of talking to the people if people's kind of struggling or not showing up missing, kind of talk to them, say, hey, and usually they got a good reason. And they'll say, well, this is going on. Could you work with me on this? It's like, yeah, sure. Just you got to talk to people. You can't sit at home and be mad at them because it's not working like you thought it should work.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. Just communicate with people. Communicate with the ushers and greeters about if there's anything you see wrong or if there's anything that's going on, just communicate. Don't jump on them, but just communicate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing that's helped us is communication.
I like that a lot.
And communication with Pastor and Billy on what they want, because it is their ministry at the church, and they're leading all of us, and communicate with them to see what they want, and then communicate that to the people, and that's done wonders, just communication.
Yeah. I think that, you know, even in our relationships, it's falls short of men a lot, you know, is communication. But I think you hit the nail on the head on that one, man. Communication is such a big part of leadership, because if I have an expectation from you, but I never tell you the expectation, you know, how can you ever meet it? Yeah. So, yeah, dude, I 100% agree with you on that. That's good. Well, thank you again for being on the show, bro.
No problem.
You did amazing.
I'm honored that you asked.
Well, y'all guys come back next week, and we'll have another amazing leader on here. God bless you.